All right, John, thank you. Cleveland State head coach Gary Waters here to help us break down the brackets. As you can see, we're like everyone else in the country. We have papers everywhere. Great to see you.
Oh, always good to see you.
Absolutely. Yes. All right, let's get right to it. The top seeds, Louisville, Kansas, Indiana, Gonzaga. What do you think about the one seeds?
Oh, I thought they did a great job in deciding who were the one seeds. Even though, you had at the last minute a team like Miami win the whole ACC, I thought they should have been considered, and they were. But when it came down, they felt these four teams were the toughest.
Surprised Duke is a 2 seed with Louisville, the top #1 seed, and then you have Ohio State, which I know just won the Big Ten tournament, but Georgetown and Miami, Florida, I think Duke got a raw deal.
Oh, they're in the toughest bracket. Look at all those guys in there. I mean, it's going to be tough for a team to come out of that.
So the Midwest is your choice for the toughest bracket?
It's not even close. I think you have in that bracket alone, you have 6 teams that can win or get to the Final Four.
That's unbelievable. I mean, that's loaded.
Well, think about it. You got Michigan State, you have Duke, you have Louisville. Another team I think has a good chance is Missouri, Oklahoma State, and then St. Louis, who's been one of the best teams throughout the entire year.
That's an incredible bracket, no question. Oh, my. Looking at the first round matchups, what stands out to you as the best matchups? I know you like the Pittsburgh-Wichita State matchup.
Well, yeah, I like that matchup, but I tell you, one that you got to really watch out for is that Butler-Bucknell.
Okay.
Yeah, Bucknell is my considered sleeper, and I think Butler's playing a very tough team. The other game I think will be very good in that first bracket will be Notre Dame and Iowa State. But then look at that UCLA Minnesota.
Yes.
I think Minnesota's going to pull an upset.
Okay. The Big Ten's been tough. No question about it. You like that North Carolina-Villanova game as well, right?
Oh, I do. I think that's going to be one of the toughest games in the first round.
All right, let's talk more about Ohio State. How do you feel about them getting a 2 seed? What a great finish for the Buckeyes.
I thought they were very close to the 1 because how well they did down the stretch. I mean, they played tough in the tournament. They played tough at the end of the season. And they went into Michigan winning, and doing all those things. I just think at the end they had to make a decision.
Yeah.
And literally, you know what I think? They flipped a coin.
You think? Because, Indiana gets the 1 seed. They got rewarded for the body of the work during the season. Ohio State gets the tournament. Is that kind of the way it goes?
I think that's how it went. And to give them a 2 seed, I thought was great.
Now, when you look at that Notre Dame-Iowa State game, I find this interesting. You feel that if Ohio State wins their first game, which they will, then you have Notre Dame-Iowa State. If you're a Buckeyes fan, you would rather see Notre Dame?
I would rather see Notre Dame. I've watched Notre Dame throughout the season, and they're big, they're strong, but they don't have the total group of guys to take on a team like Ohio State. But Iowa State is a sleeper. I mean, you got to watch out for that team. They have the ability to beat you on a given night.
Okay. Speaking of sleepers, Cinderella. Who's your Cinderella? Who's the team? Like, remember last year Ohio made it to the Sweet 16?
Yeah.
Who's a team that will be in the Sweet 16 and everyone's like, wow?
Well, the team that I think has a chance to do that is Bucknell. If they can beat Butler, then they'll play the winner between Marquette Davidson, which I think they could have a chance to beat one of those 2 teams.
Wow. Okay. Let's talk about Akron now. What do you think about that first round matchup? Shaka Smart and Keith Dambrot. They match up against each other.
Well, and I know Keith didn't want that because they're 2 distinct different styles. Shaka plays that up-tempo, press you in your face type of defense, where Keith plays you tough and strong, but they like to pound you inside. I think, though, if Keith can get that game into a slower contest and allow his big men to work inside, I think they got a great chance of moving on.
Who wins that game? Prediction time.
That's very good.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to give it to Shaka because of the league and how tough they played. But I wouldn't be surprised to see if Akron wins that.
Okay. Let's talk about this now. It seems like every year announcers come out, veins are popping, upset about all the teams that are left out. It seems like the mid-majors were treated a little better this year, and it seems like not as many people are upset. Did the right teams get in?
Well, you know what I think is starting to happen in college basketball? Parity. And now you see the mid-major teams that are playing strong at the end have a chance to do well in the tournament. And so when you say that, the committee didn't have a tough time this time. They only had 1 conference they had to deal with. And the SEC. Yeah. All the others got, I think, all the teams they wanted in there. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
How about Kentucky not being in it? I mean,
that's the SEC. And I know, think about it, a year ago, win the national title.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, they lost their best player midway through the season, and that hurt them down the stretch. And what the committee kept saying is, who played well on the road? And these three teams, I think the struggle came on the road.
Give me your final four.
Oh boy, here we go. I think in the Midwest, I think we should have Duke coming out of that.
All right, Duke. Go
Okay,
ahead.
in the South region, when I think about that, I think we're going to have Georgetown that's going to upset Kansas to come out of that. In the East region, I see Indiana going all the way through this.
Okay.
I think they'll be battle tested because of the Big Ten, how tough it was. I thought it was the #1 conference in the country this year, even though they got one less team in than the Big East. Think about that.
Yeah.
The West region, you know what? The biggest surprise I think is going to do it is Gonzaga. They're going.
He takes his glasses off and he sees the future, and you see them as the champion.
I see it. I see it. I see it.
Pick them in the bracket as your champion. And I didn't have time, but you played Valpo, Michigan, NC State, and Akron. Real quick before we go, next year things are going to be brighter for the Vikings.
Oh, I'm really excited about next year. We're going to be, in my estimation, a very good basketball team.
Can't wait. Coach Gary Waters, always a pleasure.
Yes.
Thanks for bringing it down. I'm Dave Chudowski. John, back to you.